welcome to part 2 of Joseph of Egypt. In Genesis 43 and 44, the famine has been going on for a while, and the sons of Jacob have come back home and they brought the food that they bought in Egypt, and they explained to their father how the ruler of the land spoke harshly to him, and he kept Simeon there, and he demanded that if they need to come back, they need to bring Benjamin to show that they really were telling the truth, that they're not spies. And their father was upset with them and saying, every time you guys leave, something happens. Now you guys want to take Benjamin away from me back to Egypt. Well, after going hungry for a while, they ate up all the food and they needed to go back. So the father said, okay, take Benjamin with you, but take care of him. If something happens to him, you go bring down my gray hair and send me to my grave. So they go back to Egypt and they approach Joseph, and Joseph invites them into the house, and they're thinking to themselves, oh man, he's telling us to come in. I wonder if this is about the money that we found in our sacks when we came back. So they explained, hey, we brought back the money. We don't know how it got back in our sacks, but it must have been an oversight. But we brought that money plus new money for the food that we want to take away with us. And we brought gifts. We brought, seeds and almonds and some of our, spices that we have, hoping that, we can make everything squared away with you. He told them, no, the money that you gave me, I have. God has blessed you. He gave you something on your way back. So he pretends basically like he didn't know nothing about what they were talking about, that nothing was missing. He sits them down to eat and have a feast with them. And he looks over and says, is that the youngest brother that you mentioned that you had? And they say, yeah, this is our father's youngest son, Benjamin. And Joseph was so happy to see him that he actually, started to tear up. So he left the room and he wept, and he came back with them and sat down to eat. He actually gave Benjamin 5 times the amount of food that he gave the other brothers. I guess thinking, hey, he's the youngest, he needs to eat, get big, get strong. Who knows what these brothers might try to do to him next. So after some time passes, he gives them the food that they requested, has his servants to load up everything on their animals and send them away. But he also told his servant, take my silver cup that I drink from and put it in the bag of the youngest brother. Not sure what he was up to exactly, but he ordered him to go after them a few hours later, catch up to them, and say, hey, one of you has done evil unto Joseph. You have some of his property. So he searches them. He notices, he finds the cup, obviously, in Benjamin's bags. And they're saying, we don't know anything about this, But he brings them back to the palace, and Joseph kind of pretends like he doesn't know what's going on and says, oh, I gave you all of this, and now you're going to steal from me. And Judah asks, hey, Joseph, can I speak to you? Please, I'm sorry. We don't know how this happened. All we meant to take with us was just the food that we bought. We don't know what's going on with this extra cup. Well, we have to see a little later what Joseph was up to. It had to be a reason why he was bringing them right back to the palace by using the cup that he planted in Benjamin's bag. Hey, I'm just curious. As I'm editing this video, I had a question, if anybody knows. Jacob had his sons to gather up almonds and seeds and honey and spices and things to take to the palace with them, along with the money that they had. And he was able to, double up the money because they thought, somehow or another we came back with money. We need to take that money back with us. Why is it that they needed to go to the palace to get more food? They had some, but they wanted more. Is it because maybe back in those days, physically, the men were much larger than they are now? Like now, our average weight is probably, 180 pounds. Was it the fact that in the Bible days, maybe the average weight was 250 or 300, therefore they couldn't survive on just seeds and things like that? They just needed meat and corn? Somebody could just tell me that. That'd be interesting to know.